previous episode, we saw how to add an on-tick function to create a high-frequency algorithm and how to introduce a percentage-based risk per trade. Hi, I am the Quant. In this episode, we will create an entry filter that will analyze the spread, the number of positions, the trading hours, and the trading days. Start by opening cTrader and loading the plug-and-play cbot code. We are going to create a function that will determine whether we are allowed to enter a trade or not. This function will be a Boolean, which means it will return either true or false. We will call this function check entry conditions. We can see an error because this function must always return either true or false. For now, we set it to false. Now that this function exists, we are going to create the parameter called max spread. This parameter is a double. I also changed the group name so everything is easier to read. And I initialize it to 2. Some symbols have a higher spread, so no position will be taken if you forget to adjust this value. Now that we have our parameter, we go back to check entry conditions and add the logic. If the maximum spread is lower than the symbol spread, we return false. Otherwise, we return true. And there we go. Our first filter is complete. It will prevent your robot from entering a position during large market moves, such as economic announcements or market openings. Now we will do the same thing with maximum positions. This time, the parameter will be an integer, because the number of positions is always a whole number. We name it maximum positions, and I set the default value to 1. With this value, no new trade will be taken if a position is already open. Now let's add this new condition to check entry conditions. If the maximum positions value is lower than or equal to the number of positions currently open, we return false. Now that we already have 2 filter conditions, and to make sure we can backtest correctly, we add this function to process logic. I write that if check entry conditions is not true, we return and stop the execution right here. Now let us look at the result. Now we can clearly see that the robot opens one position at a time. Let us now try on tick. Remember, previously the robot was opening thousands of positions, and now the result is that it also opens one position at a time. Now we go back to the code and we are going to create accepted time ranges. If the time is not inside this range, then we do not enter a trade. To start, we create 2 parameters. The first one is start hour and the second one is end hour. Now that the parameters are created, we are going to add them to the conditions. I write a condition that checks the hour of the last bar. If the current hour is lower than start hour, or greater than or equal to end hour, we return false. Then we look at the result. As we can see, there are no positions opened between 0 and 8, and none between 21 and 0. And now, to finish, we are going to add a selection of trading days. To do this, we add the days of the week as parameters. Each day will be a Boolean. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We start by defining a variable called current day. Using bars.opentimes.last0.day of week in order to store the current day of the week. Then, in our condition, for each day of the week, we check two things. First, whether that day is selected in the parameters, and second, whether the value of current day is equal to that specific day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, unlike the other methods above, we return true. We also change the last else so that it returns false. And that is it. Our robot now has all of its filters. Now that we have added so many parameters, we need to organize them so everything is easier to understand. To do this, we are going to change the group names. First, we put the label parameter inside a group called label, and we move this group to the very top, as if it were the name of our robot. We do the same for the bar or tick entry setting. Now we move on to the filters. For the hours, I add a group called hours to trade. And for the days, I add a group called days to trade. Then we create a group called exit settings with stop loss, take profit, trailing stop, and close on opposite signal inside it. Here is the result. Congratulations if you managed to program it. This YouTube course series ends here. If you want to go further with multiple take profits, break even, grid systems, martingale, swing stop loss, optimization parameters, and more. If it is still not done, like, subscribe, and join us on Discord. Everything you need is there to help you push the limits of robot programming. I will leave you with a full optimization of our robot. I am the Quant. The work begins with you now.